Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your boy E coming to you from El Paso, Texas. It's 9:49 of the 23rd, I believe. Let me look. Hot dog, I did it again. 23rd, yes. 23rd of August. Okay, well, hey, it's hot, so I got the AC going, and I'm gonna try to speak over it. Today I wanted to cover a few topics because it's been a while since I filmed, so I've been trying to think of what I could talk about, or what would be beneficial for those viewing the videos, because I try to keep it as much substance as possible. But one of the ones I want to talk about to kind of ease into filming again is I wanted to talk about hours. I wanted to talk about doing the 10-hour drives or the 11-hour drives, 14-hour days, and then also the 34 resets. As a matter of fact, the reason why I want to talk about it is because right now I'm on a 34-hour reset. And I'll kind of show you, through the book and the log, how I kind of got to there, because the 34 reset is really based on, the driver's opinion as to, if they can continue, driving with the amount of hours they have. So the responsibility is on the driver. And of course, if you don't do it right, you might get a call, or somebody might ask you, well, hey, you can do it, and you have to be able to defend your point of view of like, okay, look, this is how I got to my assessment of I need a 34, and then you have to either defend it. And then also the other part I want to talk about is home time. I get a lot of questions regards to home time, and I'll just kind of give you the perspective through what I've seen and what I've experienced regarding home time. I have home time scheduled for the beginning, the first week of September. So, I'll probably have to film that again and show you guys where I'm at with that home time. But generally they're good about getting you home. Okay.
Attention, a new important message has arrived.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the 11-hour drive rule, and then also the 14-hour workday, and then the 34-hour reset. So with that, I grab my logbook and let's take a look. Okay, so this is my week pretty much. I started on the 20th. This is from yesterday. But regarding the 7 days that I had worked, this is pretty much how how I started. The last 7 days I did a 7-hour, 8.5, 11, 5.5, 11, 8, 11, and it gave me 62 hours. And then off of my 70, I only had 8 left. So without that looking too foreign or getting too complicated, let me put it like this. You have 11 hours to drive within a 14-hour work period. And then with that, for a whole week, you have 70 hours to work. Okay, so however you divide that, however it ends up, the thing that the driver has to do is be aware of exactly what they're spending out of their 70 hours. Because the 70 hours is comprised of both drive time and on-duty time. So, people who want to drive hard, that's cool, but you can't drive too hard too often, otherwise you'll expire, your 70 hours. And from what I'm understanding, I asked my manager, as far as how much do I get paid for doing a 34-hour reset, it's a whopping $50. So, it's way more profitable. Let me get my calculator. It's way more profitable, obviously, for you to be driving, because you're making $50 within a 24-hour period, or within a 10-hour drive. I can drive, let's say 420 miles to be okay with that, right? 420 miles at 30 cents. That's 126 versus 50. So obviously it's profitable for the driver to drive versus sit. So you got to be good about how you spend your time. So what I did is I drew up some scenarios, and I'll have you guys take a look at it so you can kind of get a better picture. You can get a better picture for what I'm talking about. All right. Okay, so let's say scenario number 1, right? My general rule, if you can help it, would be this: keep your work time within 8 hours if possible. And once again, this is going to include your drive and your on-duty time. If you do 8 hours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you get a total of 56 hours minus your 70. That gives you 14 hours on Monday. Okay, 14 hours is enough time to pretty much, do whatever other load you got to get to. You have time. That's the point. Let's say, you know, worst case scenario, you do 10 hours every day. 10 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours. In a 7-day work week, that's 70 hours. 70 hours minus 70, it's a 0. So on Monday, you know, you're pretty much left with nothing and you have to reset. Let's say, you know, your work week is scattered. 8, 10, 7, 5, 10, 11, 5, you know. Look at that, you're good. So 14 hours. So, you know, whenever they assign you a load, you have to look through your book and see, you know, okay, well, let me see how many hours that leave me. You know, do I have to do a reset? And you get into those questions. The general rule of thumb is, from what my mentor told me, was, you know, anything below 11 hours, like if all you, like right here, like on my current log. So on my current log for the 22nd, I only have 8 hours left. The general rule is if I don't have at least 11, because 11 is what my drive could be, then I should pretty much really consider a reset. There's ways around it. There's ways to, you know, finagle, I guess, you know, how many hours you drive, but it takes practice. That takes a lot of practice, because you got to get used to, you know, adding hours at the end of your day. For instance, going back to it, I have 8 hours left, but as of the next day, the 7 gets bumped off, and you know, I gain 7 hours. So that's how that kind of works. And for the new guys, it's confusing. It is, you know, in the beginning, but you'll get it. It's just that you have to do it. But for right now, we're just talking about general sense, you know, rule of thumb. So the rule of thumb is, if all you're left with at the end of your 70 is less than 11 hours, consider doing a reset, because then you'll have a fresh 70 to work with again. You want to keep another tip is for new drivers is, you know, you technically have 11 hours to drive, but try to make that 10 in your brain, because you always want to leave yourself that hour of buffer. If you have to run, you know, the full 10, is you always want to have that hour to buffer to find yourself a safe spot to go to, whether it be a truck stop, a rest stop, or a good piece of land that you can, you know, shut down for the night. So don't leave yourself time ticking, you know, risking, you know, a violation because you went over your hours. Okay, so that's, let me see, I hope I covered that. Alright, cool. So we covered the 10-hour drive rule, or 11-hour drive rule, the 14-hour workday rule. What that means is basically the 14-hour, I didn't really talk about that. The 14-hour is simply this: when you go on duty, the clock starts. So if you go on duty at 6 a.m. in the morning, then, you know, then you have from 6 a.m., 6, 7, 8, you have till 8 p.m., which is 14 hours. So from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. is 14 hours. Now, whether you work all that 14 hours or whether you sit here and there, I mean, you have to get loaded, you know, you have a traffic jam, I mean, whatever happens, the point is you have 14 hours to work from the moment, you know, you go on the clock. So, you know, you want to be mindful of that, because, you know, you always want to be mindful of at least 11-hour rule, the 14-hour rule, and the 70-hour rule. You never want to violate. Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about home time for a minute. Home time is macro 8, and you want to go, the general rule for home time is, well, first things first. If you're going to be a trucker, you got to realize that, you know, you're not always going to get what you want regarding, you know, home time. Don't make critical plans. You know, don't you know, don't plan life and death, you know, situations per se as a trucker. And the reason why is because, you know, it's never guaranteed. Home time is never guaranteed. If you want to be home on the 10th, you know, more or less, you're probably going to get home, you know, 3 or 4 days before the 10th, or maybe, you know, 3 or 4 days after the 10th, give or take. So, I mean, it's really difficult to make any kind of solid plans. So I'd advise, don't make solid plans. Always keep your stuff tentative on your personal note, and then home time, they'll try to get you on or about or around that time. The big tip to home time is be nice. You know, be nice. You know, be nice to your manager, be nice to, you know, whoever you're talking to get you home. Be nice to the planners. I mean, be nice, man. You know, just be courteous, you know. It goes a lot further than, you know, being mean. my game plan personally to get me home on the first week of September is the moment I hopped on the truck and I knew when I wanted to be home. I macro 8 and I told them, you know, okay, look, I want to get home at this time. Boom, and I sent it as soon as possible. As soon as I knew, I sent it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do whatever they tell me. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna go here and there. I'm gonna take my 34-hour on the chin. You know, I'm gonna be real good. And then the last week is when I started hitting them up with notes. And if I have to, I'll call them. Hey, Luke. Hey, you know, just want to remind you I got home time coming up. Hey, just want to remind you I got home time coming up. And stay with that concept. And then, see, I live in California, so if I start noticing during around the time that I want to come home that they're giving me loads back out on the East Coast, you know, before I deny my plan is to call my DM and let them know, hey, look, you know, I got some home time. I just want to let you know so you can kind of advise me on what to do. You know, they're sending me out further East Coast, and I'm trying to come home, which is West. You know, and most likely, here's my experience. My experience is they're like, okay, Edward, you know, look, we want to stack you with a couple small ones to give you the big one home. Or if after you do this, we'll give you this. And they're really good about that. So, you know, it's not always going to be a straight shot. Like if you're in Florida and home time's a week from California and, oh, they're going to give you this big, you know, trip to Florida. They may not. They might, you know, send you from Florida to, you know, bottom of Mississippi to, you know, Texas to Arizona to, and it might hop and skip you, you know, to do home time. But it's part of the deal. So, you know, my thing is, as soon as they started heading me home, I'm good. So, you know, begin to remind your manager, you know, as soon as home time is happening, you know, and don't have a sour attitude, and you know, take it on the chin, knowing that you're in an industry, you're in a truck. I mean, as a company guy, you're in an industry where, you know, honestly, you know, you're at their disposal, and you know, you got to know coming into this business that it's not always going to be, you know, sunshine and rainbows. It's going to be hard work, grinding, not always getting your way, but you just got to, you know, keep a good attitude, be positive about the issue, knowing you're going to get home. You're going to get home. You know what I mean? It might not be on time you want it, but you're going to get home. Okay. The general rule for home time is you get 1 day per every 7 that you work. So, you know, for you know, after working 1 week, you get 1 day off. 2 weeks, 2 days off. 3 weeks, 3 days off. 4 weeks, 4 days off. That's a typical general rule. From 1 to 3 days is typically no problem. The fourth day, it becomes, you know, a little bit of that unspoken issue. And the reason why is because obviously the company makes money as a truck is running and as a truck is rolling. So as long as, you know, you can keep the wheels turning, you know, the company's making money, and hence the driver's making money. What they don't mind is the 1 through 3 days, but the four becomes a little bit much, because obviously the truck is sitting, and when the truck is sitting, there's no money being made. So from, you know, Swift's perspective at this current moment is going to be, you know, hey, look, if the truck's not going to roll, then clean it out, you know, and we're going to give it to somebody else that can roll it. I talked to my manager about that, and honestly, he was really cool about it. He was like, Edward, look, you know, you run hard, you know, you yada yada yada, and he was really cool about it, and told me that if I wanted to take the 4th, it's no problem. My thing is basically, you know, I don't want to take the full 4th and take advantage per se. I'll come back at 3.5, you know, or meet him in the middle, because one, you know, you gotta understand, you get paid per week. So if you're gonna take 4 days off, it's like almost taking a week off, in which my paychecks have usually been, when I return, you know, maybe a couple hundred, you know, as a company guy starting out, and you know, that's not doable. I like seeing a good paycheck. So on that note, I try to take too many days off, because time off means not only, you know, well, basically time off means I'm not making any money, and so, you know, you go into there. But that's a general rule. So, but you don't think that you can take 5 weeks, you know, on the road, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks on the road to accumulate, you know, a full week home, or, you know, a week and a half at home, and however that works, because they'll definitely have you clean out your truck, you know, to my understanding. On the flip coin of that, Swift has other programs. From what I'm hearing, I don't know much about them, so I can't really speak on them, but they have, I've heard, you know, of programs that they've had to accommodate you if you want to stay home longer. But, you know, I'm not in that boat, so I can't really speak on that. Let's see.